Hi, this is the new Kindle Voyage. I've been using it as my primary reader for 2 weeks now, and I'll just go over some things I find interesting or annoying. First thing I find slightly hard to get used to is the button on the back. I find it really hard to hit by touch alone. Also annoying is that in addition to hitting the button, you need to do a swipe. With the appropriate cover, you can have your Kindle wake up automatically. However, swipe is still needed if you have a version with special offers. Unfortunately, this time only origami cover is available for your Voyage. If you dislike it and you want a simpler cover, you will either need to buy a third-party one or wait a while for Amazon. There is a really nice simple cover Amazon sells for Paperwhite, and I believe Voyage will get a similar one with time. Build quality is quite good. You have glass front, you have magnesium back, soft finish. On my device, there is a slight bump where backing meets plastic top with antennas. It is easy to notice if you get your finger on top of it, but during normal usage you will not get anywhere close to it, so it doesn't bother me as much as I expected. Mind you, this might only be an issue on my device, so your mileage may vary. On the front, behind the glass, there are physical next and previous page buttons placed on both sides. They are pressure sensitive and I really like the idea. However, in practice I find them a bit lacking. Due to thin bezel, it's really easy to press screen instead of button. While right-handed users won't even notice this, leftists will have an issue since touching the left side of screen means going a page back. It is really hard to describe how annoying this can really get. Easy solution would be just to disable back and forward screen gestures while page press is active. However, there is no such option in software. On the other hand, you can disable page press buttons completely, but in that case you might as well go with Paperwhite. Still missing in action is the audio jack. Yes, I know it has been gone for a few generations now, but I cannot help miss audible support on the Kindle. Considering the cost of the device, I would expect it to have, if not physical audio connector, at least Bluetooth audio capability. Just imagine, you read your book, you get into the car, and your Kindle automatically connects to your car stereo, and you simply continue listening to audible version of the same book. Likewise, when you finish your travel, you just continue reading where Audible has left off. Really annoying thing is that you can already do all this on your smartphone with Amazon software, but you cannot do it on flagship Kindle device. Speaking of wireless, Kindle Voyage supports only 2.4 GHz networks. This will be perfectly fine most of the time, but in some crowded neighborhoods, having 5 GHz support comes in really handy. I was really disappointed by the fact that 3G only works for downloading books and Wikipedia. If you try accessing any other page, you will be greeted with an error. My ancient Kindle 2 had no such restrictions, and this came in handy more than once. Perfect example of such use would be looking a train or bus schedule while traveling. The fact that I cannot do the same thing on a new Kindle makes it pretty much worthless to me. I will be swapping this Kindle for Wi-Fi only. Screen on this Kindle is backlit and it looks amazing under almost any lighting conditions, whether it's inside or outside. I found no major issues with glare regardless of its glass front. Since I currently live in the Seattle area, I cannot really say how it would look on really bright sunshine day, because there won't be such a day here until the next summer. For night reading, I find automatic brightness adjustment helpful to reach a ballpark of desired level. However, I noticed that quite often I had to manually adjust it a bit. To avoid manual adjustment, you might want to try a night light feature. However, personally I didn't find it really helpful at all. Maybe this is partially due to brightness level being a bit too coarse for my taste at the lower end. For night reading, I would often find brightness level a bit too bright and then have a level below it a bit too dark. Nonetheless, this is definitely the best ebook screen I've seen so far. It is still not a pristine white, but personally I've read quite a few physical books having worse contrast than this. Page turn speed is increased a bit, and yes, it's not instant. That's still a dream for e-paper. However, you really easily get used to a small delay. Interface is pretty much the same as on previous models, so I won't get too much into it, except to say that you still cannot have 24-hour clock if you are living in the US. Yes, it is nitpicking, but I cannot believe that this is still not configurable. Slight surprise is that this Kindle only charges at the standard 500 mAh rate. This is true whether you use USB port or a dedicated charger. Even with Amazon's own charger, you cannot get it to charge at any higher current. You can compare this to the ancient Kindle 2 and you will see that it charges quite a lot faster. I really like the new Kindle Voyage and I believe it's worth the money if you read a lot. Just keep the 3G version, get a nice cover, remove special offers and don't be a lefty.